has been an awakening. Have you felt it?
Hello guys, my name's IMacWoman7 and today I am talking about the Mortal Kombat movie. I don't really do reviews as much. Here and there I do. I used to a lot. Well, not a lot, but I thought I'd get back into the habit of it and see what people think. So I just saw the Mortal Kombat movie yesterday, and I'm mixed. I'm mixed about the movie. As you know, I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. I love the video games. I love the lore. I love the Scorpion Legends, Scorpion's Revenge movie. I love the original film. I don't really care for the Annihilation. I've never watched it, but it looks shit, so I've never watched it. But yeah, so I was super excited for this film, and I think it's... I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I liked it. I definitely enjoyed myself watching this film. I'm not going to lie and say I didn't enjoy myself. It's a depressing piece of it. No, it is fun. It is actually quite fun, and it's supposedly really funny at points. And yeah, and not in a bad way funny. You know, like some movies are bad, but they're hilarious kind of thing. It was just like, it had good jokes. It was quite funny. But yeah, I might as well talk. I'll talk about the cast first. So I thought the cast was pretty good. I was pretty happy with everyone. Scorpion was amazing. Obviously, he's my favorite character. I absolutely loved him in this movie. But yeah, he did an incredible job. I think, you know, he's not in it much, which I knew that was gonna be the case because obviously Scorpion in these games, he's not. Even though he's on the main cover, he's not usually the main character, if that makes sense. So I kind of knew that was going to be the case. But every scene with him stole the show. He was incredible. Sonia Blade, I thought was another one that I thought was pretty good. She did the part well. Yeah, she was kind of, I don't know what, she was kind of jealous about a certain plot element that I'll talk about. But I think she kicked ass. I think she was like Sonya Blade, and I'm happy with her to be Sonya Blade for whatever movies they do. Who else? Jax was good. I was pretty happy with Jax, even though I don't really like him in Supergirl, which I stopped watching ages ago. But he was in it, and he kind of annoyed me in Supergirl. But then again, everyone annoyed me in Supergirl. But he was quite good. I actually quite liked him as Jax. He had some pretty good moments in the film, some emotional moments where he's lost his arms and he's kind of like, what the fuck's the point of living, you know? But he was good. Sorry, my nose is playing up today. Who else can I talk about? Who else? Sub-Zero was awesome as well. Really well casted. Really awesome. He's really that dicky Bi-Han Sub-Zero. He's a real prick, and I loved that. I think that was really good. Okay, who else? Sorry, I got my camera on the road. Fired. I think if I do that, it should keep recording, hopefully. Yes, good. Sometimes if you click down on the camera, it'll go away. I'll talk about Kano in a moment. Who else do I want to talk about? Liu Kang and Kunleo, I think they were fine. I feel like they were a bit too, like they didn't really have much personality. They were kind of just bland. Like Kunleo is supposed to be more rebel than Liu Kang, if you ask me, but I didn't really get the sense of that. But they kind of like, they were just people that worked for Raiden, and I think it worked for the most part. Their powers were pretty well done as well, and the costumes were pretty good. So yeah, I was pretty happy with both of them. Raiden was, I don't know, like I liked Raiden. I liked his look. His voice did get me at first because it's a real like, I am Raiden. Oh, not really like that. It's more, how do you do it? It's kind of that deep, kind of Japanese kind of voice, if that makes sense, if you know what I'm talking about. He was quite small as well. That kind of caught me off surprise because I'm so used to Raiden being really tall, and then I'm like, oh, he's quite small in this. But but I think he was fine. I think it's just because I'm so used to Raiden from MK11, Injustice 2, Mortal Kombat 9, Mortal Kombat X. I'm so used to that voice of Raiden. But I think he was fine. I think he did the part well, Shang Tsung, I think, was good. I still think Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat 11 and from the first Mortal Kombat movie is still the better Shang Tsung. I cannot remember his name for the life of me. I can't remember the actor's name. But I did like Shang Tsung in this. He does say the classic, "Your soul is mine," so I was pretty happy with that. He looked good. I didn't like how his eyes went black, though. I thought that was a bit weird. I'm like, why are your eyes going black? And then his voice kind of echoes as well. But I think he was fine. Like, I hope he comes back for another film. The only problem with him and Raiden, this was always something I've always had a complaint with these two, is that they never really get to fight people in these films. That's always been something that always irritates me. They never really get to go out and kick some ass. They kind of do, but not really, if that makes sense. They're always just kind of in the back, just being like, yo, what's up? Yeah, compared to, like, in the video games, like Mortal Kombat 11, I love that game because you get to see Shang Tsung kick ass and you get to see Raiden kick ass. They both fucking kick some ass in that game. So, here they kind of don't really. Who else can I talk about before I talk about Kano and Cole? Cole and Kano are the two I need to talk about. Cabal was good. I was actually pretty surprised with him. He had more lines than I thought, so I was pretty happy with that. Rekka, I didn't really know who that was, but he was good. Goro was good. He was just kind of a big monster. And Taro was in it. She was. There's no Taro fans in this movie, but she was just kind of there. Yeah. Well, I might as well talk about. I think the person who stole the show, besides Scorpion, is Kano. Kano was fucking hilarious in this movie. Yeah, he was fucking good in this. Every line was a killer. Every line he said was fucking hilarious. And I was losing it. He was really good. I fucking loved it. He's your fucking stubborn, typical Australian. And I loved it. It was fucking hilarious. Oh, he's just like, you fucking what? Just, oh god. I loved it. He was good. I hope we get to see him again. I really do. He was really good. And then the character, obviously, everyone is talking about is Cole Young. And I don't know how I feel about him. I'm very on the edge. Because I don't want to be like, nah, he sucks. I don't like him. But I don't want to be like, he's a great character. He's kind of in the middle for me. He's kind of like, I like his powers. You get to see what that is. I think his powers are really cool. Another thing, spoilers, but another thing is that I like that he's related to Scorpion. I think, like, in the bloodline, I think people predicted that anyway, but I was happy with that as well. I think that was good. Now, off spoilers. What else? What else is... But he had a family as well, and I guess that was supposed to be like Scorpion as well, kind of thing. Sorry, I'm back on spoilers again, but it was kind of like, so there was that kind of thing, and I was fine with that, but it was just more the fact, I don't know, it was just, the thing that bothered me about his character, so the whole thing in this movie is that if you have a tattoo, you're chosen to be in this tournament, in this Mortal Kombat thing. And that tattoo, like, gives you your powers, I guess, or you find your inner power. And, which is different. It's usually, Liu Kang and Kunleo, it's kind of like, they learn it, I guess. But then, excuse me. I was being stupid. But then in this, they kind of make it that everyone does it. Like, Sonya Blade, you know how she has the gauntlet things? Instead of that, it's, like, out of her. Like, excuse me. It's actually a power that comes out of her, so... Which was weird. And then Jax, his arms are robotic, but then next to it, when he finds his inner power, it actually transforms into the bigger arm, so that turns into his powers. And then Cole is, he has this, I don't know, he has this bracelet and then goes right around, and it can absorb energy from, as far as I'm concerned, and then it could turn into weapons and stuff. I thought that was cool. I liked his powers. And then Kano, he has a laser eye, like his eye legit shoots lasers. But it's not like a robotic eye or anything. It's like an actual eye that shoots lasers. I'm sure in the next one, if you've seen this, you'll know what I mean. But, like, I'm sure in the next one, they'll probably be like, oh, we'll give him the robotic eye now because of what happens to him in this movie. Like, you see in the face, his face got scratched and stuff like that. So I feel like they'll give him a robotic eye in the next one, and then they'll I guess they'll say that they'll help him aim better. That's what I think will happen. Yeah, but it was a bit weird. I don't know how I feel about that. I've always just liked, I mean, Liu Kang and Kunleo, obviously, I think it makes sense, but then and Cole, I guess it makes sense with, but I think Jax and Sonya, it doesn't really make sense, and Kano, because their thing has always just been they have, like, gadgets and stuff, and that's always been their thing. So, but then the thing that annoys me about that is that it would have worked with Johnny Cage. It perfectly would have worked with Johnny Cage. You could have got rid of Cole Young, put Johnny Cage in it, and that would have worked, because obviously his thing is about finding his green energy type power, and that would have worked with this film. I think that could have worked for his character. And, that's why they're like, well, we didn't want a white protagonist. It's because how the story's written, it would have worked with him. I see why that person said that, the producer, well, we didn't want a white protagonist. The way the story's written, it would have worked with Johnny Cage. And that's the real problem I have with Cole Young, is that I really see this and I'm like, that could have been Johnny Cage. The only thing about him is that he doesn't have a family, and Cole is actually a dad in this with a daughter and a wife. But that's the only thing that's different. But honestly, Johnny Cage could have been Cole, and I think that's going to be a real thing that people are going to look at this movie and be like, wow, that could have been Johnny Cage. And I can definitely see people doing that. And I'm the same. I will say, though, they do tease Johnny Cage at the end. There is no post-credit scene, by the way. I learned that the hard way. There's no after-credit scene or anything like that. It's just the end credits and that's it. So, so that is one thing I did have a problem with. I'm very on the border with Cole. I think he could definitely turn into a better character, but at the same time, I think, like, he was just bland and boring. He didn't really have anything to him, and I think that's the main problem I had with him. What else? Another problem I had with the movie was the setting. The setting was just either in a barn, in a town, in a cave, in a mining area in Australia, which is meant to be Outworld. The locations to me were just not anything. They were just like, that's Australia. That's all I had from me. That's all I saw. I'm like, that's Australia. That was all. And that annoyed me, because obviously I've always liked Mortal Kombat. Like, their locations, their maps are so iconic, and they were just, it was just nothing, it was just nothing. The pit actually did show up, but it's just like a brown bridge with no color. Like, it just wasn't unique or anything. That's probably another problem I have with the movie, that it's a very dark movie, and obviously I think they're trying to make it more realistic, but that's the thing, like, I would have liked, I think it needed some color. Like, I like, say, Mortal Kombat 11, like, all the color, you see, like, the Scorpion's colors of yellow, and Sub-Zero's blues, and Scarlet's reds, and, and all that. You see all that, and it's cool. That's Katana because she's blue, and that's, Jade, and, and I like that, but here they didn't really have that. Like, I don't even think Melina had a bit of pink on her. I think she was just completely brown, and then her abilities were pink. And same with, like, Scorpion, they did brighten his costume up, actually, in the movie. It was a bit more gold, which I liked. Sub-Zero is still blue, but not like, it's like a dark blue, And then there's, like, even a little tease of nude Cyborg, which I quite liked, if you see what I mean. But yeah, I just, I don't know, I just thought the settings could have been better. And I understand, like, one thing I noticed is that there isn't, like, an island they go to do the tournament, which is always something I was very confused about, if they actually did the tournament or didn't they. That is one thing I was really confused about in this movie, if they did or didn't. Because it's made like they weren't doing the tournament, like it was before the tournament, but then they were like, they kind of did it. I don't know, it doesn't really make sense to me, that whole part. Once again, I do want to see this again to understand those type of things. But yeah, I did think the settings were a bit trash. It was really just in Raiden's cave, and that's kind of it, and they annoy me, because Mortal Kombat has incredible settings. Also, I say Raiden's cave, it's supposed to be his temple, but his temple, you've seen it in Mortal Kombat 11 and X, it's fucking beautiful. In this, it's just like, it's a cave. it's a fucking cave with statues. So yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of that. I think the settings definitely need to be better. And I think they were just like, oh, we'll film it in Australia. And that was the thing. They kind of talked about how this is, you know what, I'm going to go blow my nose for a second. Okay, I think I'm good. No, I'm not. Anyway, I thought the settings were a bit average. I think that's what I was talking about. Yeah, so hopefully in the next one, they'll go to some more exotic places. Like, even Outworld was just like a big black nothing. You know, it was just a big black area of a mining field that was in Australia. So yeah, that was probably the disappointing part. That, you know, they talked about how, oh, the locations are so incredible in this film, and maybe it's just me because I live in Australia and I know that that's just Australia. But at the same time, it didn't scream Mortal Kombat to me. The fight scenes were pretty good. There is one part that is very poorly edited. It's a fight between Cole and Goro, and then it's like everyone else. But it just how it was filmed was not, how it was edited was not very good. Like, you'll get a bit where they fight, where Cole will like punch Goro, and then it'll cut to Sonya Blade punching Melina. You know, it just was, it didn't look right. It didn't. I think they need to do that for a bit, and then do that for a bit, then do that for a bit, and then do that for, and then it kind of eventually did. But no, I thought that part was very poorly edited, if I must be honest. Yeah, so what else was there? What else? You know, surprisingly, and I know this sounds really weird, I didn't think this movie was as violent as they were really pointing it out to be. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but maybe I'm just used to it because I play Mortal Kombat, but I don't know, they were saying like, oh, it's really on the edge with the violence. And it wasn't. It was just kind of, you know, people dying and you see guts and stuff, and then you see someone's brain getting cut in half, and maybe that's why it had to be R, but I don't know. I just didn't think it was as violent as they were really putting it out to be. I've seen much more violent stuff. So, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But I thought this movie was pretty, like, oh yeah, it's violent, but it didn't really, like, you know, or like, oh, whoa, that's too much, you know. So yeah, it didn't really do that for me. I will say, I did like Melina as well. Did I talk about her? I think I probably forgot to talk about her, but I did like Melina. Her mouth actually, by the way, for people who were worried that her mouth is just this, it actually does split up. So, and that's what people were predicting. So, there you go. So, that's pretty good. No katana, though, which I found weird. But, yeah, no katana. Yeah, which I found interesting. Yeah, so it definitely hints at a bigger world as well. Like, it definitely does with, like, Shao Kahn and the great Kunleo, and, you know, it definitely does, and Baraicho and all that, but it just really, like, it's one of those films, like, I think this was fine, and I liked it, and I'm definitely going to buy it, and maybe I'll go see it again in theaters. But I don't think it was, like, I don't think it was the best Mortal Kombat movie. I definitely think it could have been better. And I think it's just because, unfortunately, they really just didn't want to do the same story again with the tournament. And I can understand that. I think the tournament's been done like 4 or 5 fucking times now, so they're kind of over it. And I can see, like, okay, we don't want to do that again. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. So they try to be more unique with it, so I can let it go with that type of aspect, that it's trying to be more unique. But I just think the second one needs to be more epic, more characters, and more armies. Like Shakespeare said, I will send my armies this time. Do that. Do that. Do the armies. I want to see armies attack Cardins and fucking Shao Kahn's men and fuck, what's the other people called? I was thinking of Reptile's dudes. No, there's only one. That was another thing. Was that Reptile? They did say the name of him, but was that Reptile? Because I was like, fuck, is that Reptile's name? And I've heard his name before, and I cannot remember what the fuck his name is. But yeah, that was another part. Yeah, so, it does make me think what could be the future. I think I would like, well, Scorpion, I think we're definitely going to see him again, but I think characters I would like to see personally is Sindel. Have no idea who you would cast as her. I was thinking the chick from, you know, Deadpool at 1 and 2, Deadpool's girlfriend. I was thinking she could play Sindel. I think she would be pretty good. Like, that's the thing. You need to be someone that's a mum who's hot and can act. That's very rare these days. You usually got the first two, but then you haven't got the acting part. So, you know. And you have to have big jugs. That's very important. It is to me. No, not really. What was the other thing? Oh, and then I was thinking Kenshi. I'd like to see Kenshi. And people were saying Keanu Reeves could be him. And I absolutely agree. I think that could be cool. People said Angelina Jolie for Sindel. And I said, no. Absolutely not. Definitely not. I don't like Angelina Jolie. Do not like her. But Keanu Reeves and Kenshi, I could definitely see working. And then I think I wonder if they'll introduce more of the Lin Kuei, because they definitely mentioned the Lin Kuei. Like, I wonder if they'll introduce Cyrax and Sector being the modern day Lin Kuei, and Smoke and Kuai Yang. I wonder if Kuai Yang is in this actually, because Sub-Zero Bihan is from the past, and then he comes to the present. Like, he obviously lives to the present. So I wonder if Kuai Yang is there with him, and he's lived that long. Like, I wonder if... Because they didn't really... Like, Scorpion, I understand that he's from the past and then he comes to the future kind of thing. Like, through the Nether Realm. But I wonder if Sub-Zero is the same deal, that he's got the Lin Kuei. Like, they must still exist. So I wonder if they're still all there. And I would like to see Kuai Yang. I would like to see Kuai Yang. That's Sub-Zero's brother to not hardcore Mortal Kombat fans. Yeah. Yeah, but I think out of... I guess out of 10, I'm going to give it a 7. I think a 7 is what I give it. I think it's good. There's definitely some problems, but I can definitely sit down and watch this again and enjoy it whenever. And I think if I'm like, I want to watch a Mortal Kombat movie, I'm either going to choose this or Scorpion's Revenge. So, yeah. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao.